Well, good morning, Glue Troopers. I went ahead and decided to file down the tail where the decal, even though I eventually got it to lay down, it just looked pretty rough. And it's an old decal, so I'm going to probably just touch it up with a little paint and let that go. But the Supermarine Racer is essentially will be done once I do that. I still need to do the rigging on the GB. I'm torn if I want to try and touch up the trim on it. I'm afraid of making it worse, but it is a little bit thick. You know, us model builders are pretty self-critical. That's probably one reason so many of our models turn out looking as good as we do. But sometimes you get that hinky feeling that what I'm about to do is going to make matters worse. But we'll see how it goes. I'll make my decision. I do want to do a nice job on it. I think I'm going to try taping it, recutting it, putting a little red, resealing it, put a little red over in an area, maybe on the bottom of the wing that's not quite as visible. If that goes well, I might proceed with it. But that's going to have to be a slow and careful process, because that 1/48 scale is just such a fine line, because when you look at the photo of the real airplane, you realize how tiny that dark blue cheat line is. Well, I just got back from safari. I actually got back in about 1 a.m. I'm actually supposed to be out flying as I'm filming this, but schedule changes. I wound up getting a day off, so I'm home a little early. Yay! And there was a box waiting on me from Phil. Now, Phil is a gentleman you may recall, is the gentleman who has those large pink dragon-like monsters and the This Island Earth Metaluna mutant kits that, again, he had those molds cut himself, or that's the rumor. Okay, so but anyway, I was shocked to come home. There was a box from him that included one large pink dinosaur looking possibly radioactive breathed monster, and a Metaluna mutant kit. And I am extremely grateful and moved by that, because as you folks know, the person who had these made did so at a great expense, and these are I appreciate that. I really do. If you would like to get them, I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple of eBay links below. Of course, these are going to move their way towards the head of the queue. I keep saying that. I've got so many models that keep moving to the head of the queue. My head of the queue is going to look like Ghidorah or the Hydra, you know, because, hey, look, they're all at the head of the queue. Look how many heads I've got. Oh, I'm so clever. Anyway, so I'm, Phil, thank you. Thank you very much. And, well, since I've been gone, that's really about it. My brother-in-law is here, and God bless him. He one of his hobbies is like yard work, landscaping, that kind of stuff. And he cleared out a bunch of the underbrush and everything I had in the backyard. And now I can actually see around. I can walk around the Tarvis without worrying about, you know, being attacked by a lion hiding in the bushes. So I might have to see if it's a little grungy out here today, but if the weather clears up, I'm charging up the drone and see if I can shoot some new entry footage. That's for that little DJI Spark I use. That's actually, it takes a lot of takes. You run down a couple of batteries just trying to get one good pass. But now that some of that stuff is missing or has been removed, maybe I can do it in one smooth take with all of the cuts. But, you know, creating these videos is half the fun. So it's not like, oh, I have work to do. You know, it's like, oh, I have to build all these models. Oh, boo-hoo. I mean, heck, that's the fun part. So I got a few days off. I want to get a little content. I want to get the race planes finished up. I want to get started on Waddell Williams. I still haven't touched it. It's sitting here. It's cleanly bathed and all washed and ready to go. And since I usually have multiple projects going at one time, if I can clean up the counter here, I'd like to put the rockets to the left, maybe put these kits from Phil in the middle, work on them simultaneously, and then work on the Waddell Williams here on the main table. And that's kind of the halfway plan. God, this place looks like somebody rolled a bloody grenade in here. No. If somebody had blown a grenade in here and set it off, there'd probably be some sort of uniform organization to it. This thing, gosh, I hope the inside of this place is not a peek inside the inner workings of my mind, but I think it is maybe just that jumbled. There are just so many things I want to do, and they're all, they're all in there at the same time. And you kind of stay focused, but as you move into one project, you start already looking over at the other. To use a metaphor, it's kind of like when you take out a nice looking girl, but there's another really beautiful girl sitting at the other table. You're like, don't look. God, men really are pigs. By the way, you may have noticed I'm not using the electronic light, the LED light. I think I'm going to take that back in the garage. I might bring out one of the other ones. What did you guys think about that extra light? The flickering was the reason why, but does the lighting even matter to you? Well, look at a video from a couple of weeks ago, and one of the last ones I shot where I'm using that light, and maybe I won't bring any extra lights in here if no one really cares. I just thought it'd be nice to have some sharper image, but like I say, the fuzzier the picture, the better I look. Anything else? The trip came, it went, was down in Kingston for an hour, and Nassau for an hour, and don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It's great to go to these places, especially during the winter. But I also had to go up to DC for a night, and it was they keep us across the river in the Maryland side by that gigantic Ferris wheel, and where they have the fake Air Force One. And yes, there is a complete fake Air Force One parked down there that you can tour, and it's like a tourist attraction, and I guess you can rent it for movies. But anyway, fortunately, there's a place to eat. The hotel didn't have a restaurant, but there's a place right across the street. But not wanting to lug my big heavy coat with me, I just had a windbreaker and my little knitted cap, and I actually had to put my pajamas on underneath my pants so my legs wouldn't freeze, because it got cold up there. And DC's not nearly as cold as some of you guys are up in Montana and Canada and the other places. And I'm of Nordic stock. I'm built for the cold, and even I was like, well, I'll stay down here in Florida. And so I'm such a wuss. But I don't know why I got off on that. There is one other thing about model building, though. Get back to our, our raison d'etre. I'm sitting here looking at the little O1 bird dog by Aguilo's that I have up hanging from the ceiling. It's been up there forever. And over time, the right wing has just begun to warp. And it was, when I built it, it was pretty straight. And of course, it's been dropped a few times. It's been hanging from the ceiling. That may have an impact on it. But I'm wondering, here's a question of the day. Have any of you guys built kits, wood, plastic, anything else, that over time just started to flex or twist or warp? Apparently it's, it can even happen to styrene under the right conditions, I suppose. So just a little curious about that. Most of us probably old enough to remember leaving something like a cassette tape, or maybe an actual record like a LP or a 45 in the back window of a car, forgot about it, come back and look like a potato chip. But I wonder if that's ever happened to your kits. And I'm not counting the ones that when I was a kid we had a fire in the room that melted all of our models. We came in there and they all looked like a painting by Dali. In fact, the first time I saw Dali's painting in school with the melting clocks, I was kind of like, oh, it looks like my model collection after the room fire. Well, that's all I got for now, guys. Just wanted to say I'm back and hope to get a little bit of content out over the next few days. But as you know, as I keep harping, got a whole bunch of real world stuff and family and things here. So, a lot of distractions. But by the way, something I just noticed that I'd failed to mention on is that with the large reptilian creature is that it comes in two colors. The creature is primarily in this pink color and the base is in gray. I just thought that was a nice touch. So that's it. You guys take care. We'll talk to you later and model on.